Hey guys, Pastor Channer here. Hey guys, Pastor Channer. Yo, what is up? How are you guys doing? Yes, happy Monday. We're back at it. We're back at it on a Monday. Good to see you all. Let me drop the music down just a tad, and we're gonna chill today. Hope you guys are doing well. I've got a whole bottle full of tea. Yes. Delicious. It's Silver Needle. I love Silver Needle. One of my favorite teas. Nice and smooth, delicious flavors. It's a white tea. Very, very good. Very drinkable. So I'm enjoying that. And yeah, we're going to jump right in, guys. I want to focus on Hebrews 13. And the reason we're focusing on Hebrews 13 is it's the next passage. But let's just go ahead and see how I broke this down. I have to look at the roadmap because I haven't looked at the roadmap in 4 days. So I need to look at the roadmap and see what I'm supposed to preach on. Okay, what are we looking at? We're looking at this is going to be on, what, 431? Somewhere in there? 430. Okay. I had said I was going to preach on love and hospitality. Love and hospitality. So, and this one, tentatively, I'm not going to preach on marriage and sexuality. Although that would have been interesting because I think that would have been on Mother's Day. Anyway. I think instead Trevor's going to preach this day. Boom. So that should be good. Guys, I'm going to walk soon. We're getting ready to walk. It's exciting. It's exciting. Anyway, let's not worry about the future. Tomorrow has enough problems of its own. Today we'll focus on today. Okay? Love and hospitality. That's what I said I was going to preach on. Let's read it. Let brotherly love continue. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, and thereby some have entertained angels unawares. So my goal is to preach on small, isolated verses rather than large pericopes like I typically do. Instead, my approach in chapter 13 is going to be to preach on small little sections. I think this is good because here's why. The author feels like he's just trying to get everything he can in there regarding Christian living, morality, etc. And so it feels too disparate. It feels like I would just be glossing over it. So notice in 5-6, he's talking about contentment, for example. Keep your life free from the love of money. Be content with what you have. And then in verse 7, remember your leaders, those who spoke the word of God. So those are too different from each other for my taste. For my taste, okay? I would not go against an author of scripture, okay? I'm not saying they're doing it wrong. I'm saying for my taste, for my preaching, I don't want to treat that big a pericope. That's my point. So I'm going to kind of do a Charles Spurgeon-esque sort of thing. I don't know if you've read much Spurgeon, but when he preached, he would take a verse, 2 verses at most, sometimes half a verse. Sometimes he'd preach on just a word. And I think it'll stretch me as a preacher to do this. So we're going to go ahead and go down this path. Love and hospitality. Boom. And we're going to go for it. We're going to go for it. At least broadly right now, we're going to plan to preach just these 2 verses. And what's really cool about differing your pericope size is now, if I'm preaching on just these 2 verses, I can actually go much more in depth into the original languages, right? Like you have a lot more ability to flesh out the details. You know what I mean? And I think that's relevant. So let's grab the Greek, let's grab the English, and yeah, we're going to dive in. We're going to dive into this stuff. We might do some in-depth exegesis rather than broad commentary work, all that type of stuff. What's up, Ray? How you doing? Ray says, hey, Tanner, question for you. Are you familiar with the Lexham Research commentaries? Yes. Have you used them? Yes. If so, what are your thoughts on them? Fantastic. I wish there were more of them for more books of the Bible. For the busy pastor, these are a hidden gem, okay? The Lexham Research commentaries, to me, and just so you know, Ray, if you don't know about these resources, the exegetical summaries, to me, these are kind of the same type of book. So let me show a Lexham Research commentary. These are great, okay? These Lexham Research commentaries are fantastic. Here's one. Oh, no, that's a context commentary. Where are the research commentaries? They're not on every book of the Bible, which is a bummer. Here they are. They're all down here. So let's grab, look, you can see how many of them I've hit up. Let's go ahead and grab Galatians, okay? And then let's compare that to the exegetical summaries. Galatians, boom. These are two books that for the busy pastor or somebody who is trying to take their first step in research, these are great, okay? So you're studying Galatians 4, 8-31 in the allegory of Hagar and Sarah, a notoriously difficult passage. Well, open your Galatians Lexham Research commentary, and boom, they're going to give you a summary of all the major commentaries. So this is what Hermeneia says. This is what NIGTC says. This is what Black's New Testament commentary says. This is what WBC says. And he gives you the highlights of what these major commentators say. The exegetical summaries are very, very similar. So again, if I'm going to go Galatians 4:21, scroll down. Question: what law is referred to in this phrase? It refers to the Jewish law, and that's put forward by the Translator's Handbook, okay, by the UBS, or you have several other commentators who say it's not the Jewish law, but the Mosaic law, right? So Leon Morris, the NAC, the NIC, the WBC, etc. And you can just see at a glance which commentaries take which stances. So helpful. Absolutely helpful. Okay. This is made all the more powerful if you have these commentaries, because then you can dig in depth. You can read through these and you go, okay, I disagree with these interpretations, but I want to dig in a little bit deeper to the Anchor Yale Bible and see what they say. And then you could just jump to that one. So these are great, Ray. Love them. Lean into them. Use them. And especially, again, for the busy pastor, these are just an absolute gold mine. Yeah, well done if you like this set. I love these. Love these. What up, Got Fuzz? Been a minute. How are you, my man? I hope you are well. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, yes. Fuzz says, when are you donating to our Logos libraries? Not going to happen, my man. Not going to happen. I think you can only bequeath it to a family member. So I'm going to have to put in my will that, you know, one of my family members is going to receive my Logos library, right? But yeah, I can't do anything about that, my man. I'm sorry. I hope you're well. Good to see you. Just got a physical copy of Schreiner's Romans Commentary, 2nd edition. Which set is that from? Ah, yes, yes. Ah, it's this one you're talking about, the BECNT. Yeah, great series. Great series. I used Schreiner in his Hebrews commentary. Didn't like it as much. It felt a little cursory. Felt like he could have gone a little bit more in depth. I bet BECNT Romans is just great. Cool. Well done. Well done, Fuzz. Big fan of Schreiner. Big fan of Schreiner. I read through one of those compare and contrast books, right? Like 5 views on the whatever. I forget what it was on. But Schreiner did one of the chapters, and I was that close to Schreiner. Like, everybody, I was like, he's got a point, and then Schreiner came out with his position. I was like, Schreiner's got it. Schreiner understands, right? So, big fan. I'm pretty in line with him. Not on everything, of course. I don't think I'm in line with anybody on everything, but like Schreiner stuff a lot. All right, Ray says, wow, so helpful. Thank you for the tangent and helpful information. Yes, Ray, I need to do a review one of these days. When I get more time, I need to do a review on the exegetical summary series and the Lexham research commentaries. They are great. Absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. What is up, Cal Magic? It's good to see you, my man. The word Torah has been translated as teaching, law, Mosaic law, law of God, and others. I wonder what the translator's position is. Ah, see, there you go. Very interesting. That's exactly right. These are the sorts of things that are helpful to dig into. And of course, you're referring to Galatians, right? Yeah. And I'm sure there's a ton of discussion on it. So very cool. Good to see you, Cal Magic. I hope you're doing well. Happy Monday. Fuzz says, I've been blessed, busy with church promotion at work. Nice. Congrats, my man. Yes. And buying a new car since the kids started at the Christian school this coming semester. That's great, Got Fuzz. Yes. Very cool. We are still paying off the basement renovation, and the stream room, we're going to get up to like recording studio quality in terms of its audio setup. So can't get a new car yet. Can't get a new car yet, but it's on the back burner. Wifey's been driving the same car since high school. Okay, so Jess needs a new car. Let's just say that. But she's hanging in there. Once we get the stream room outfitted to recording studio level quality for her music, then we'll start saving up to maybe get a new car. Very cool, Fuzz. How about you? You done with school yet? Not yet. Almost, though. I walk in May, Lord willing, and I finish by the end of August because I'm allowed to carry over a few handful of credits to kind of finish up in the 3 months after walking. So walking this May, it's all planned. I've got people preaching to fill in for me. And then August, I should be done. And I'm going to take me a break, okay? I might start looking into professors where I could do some PhD work because I'm going to require some very specific professors for PhD work. I'm not going to go with just anybody. So I'm going to start looking into that, but that might be years in the making, right? So anyway, going to take me a break. I need one. So close is right. So close is right. Cal Magic, reading through Futado's course on the Pentateuch. Love Futado. He's one of my favorite professors. Guy is a genius. Yes, he's fantastic. Love the information he shares. Everything Futado touches is gold. Absolute gold. I had to read through, I think it was on the Psalms. He wrote the handbook right here, Interpreting the Psalms, Exegetical Handbook. When I took my class on the Psalms, he required this, his own book, as a textbook. I'm glad he did. It's fantastic. He's absolutely brilliant. Yep. Love Dr. Futado. One of my favorite professors. Well done. Well done, Cal Magic. I eventually want to read everything Futado's written. I've got a lot to go through, right? And I love that he freely and willingly does plenty of Logos courses. I want to get more and more of those. So, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool, Cal Magic. All right, y'all. Well, here we are. And we've got some exegetical work to do because we're only going to treat 2 verses, so we can go in depth. Hey, Philadelphia, Meneto. Okay. And this, hey, the Philadelphia brotherly love. The brotherly love. And then Meneto. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to guess it means something like let it continue, right? Let it continue. Let's see. Verb, present active, imperative. Okay, it's an imperative. And third person singular. Third person singular. Interesting. So, it says to continue or to persist. Let brotherly love continue, but imperative. That's relevant. Okay. Boom. And let's see if I can do this next one. Tes philoxenios me epilanthanosthe. Epilanthanosthe. Dia tautes gar elathantines. Xen. That's an interesting word. Xenisantes angelus. I don't recognize most of those words. Here's the article, of course. Here's the not. Okay. Dia is through. Tautes. Gar. And then tines. That usually refers to a thing, like something or this thing over there. And then angelus, typically is your messenger type of language. So in terms of pure translation, I can't do this one. But obviously, we're going to lean into our resources to get the work we need. All right. Cal Magic, look for PT to attend Oxford for his PhD. Probably not going to happen, Cal Magic. Probably not going to happen. What I think I'm going to do is, you know, one of the things I'm focusing on in terms of my research is metaphysics and epistemology associated with metaphysics. And then not only that, but kind of an integration of metaphysics into theology. And I need to find a professor who is skilled in that area. There aren't many of them out there, okay? I'm sorry, but I read most New Testament professors, Old Testament professors for that matter, and their understanding of metaphysics is lacking, to say the least. So I need to dig in a little bit deeper into that and start reaching out to professors who are strong in metaphysics and go from there, okay? So it's going to be a long process. It's going to be a long process. But Oxford probably ain't going to be it. We can dream, though, Cal Magic. We can dream. What is up? Is that tree talking to me? Hello. Good to see you. Welcome. They say, hello. Great to see Pastor Tanner live. Great to see you seeing me live. Yes. I'm usually at work, but we have a public holiday in New Zealand today. Well, fantastic. Thanks for swinging by. I appreciate you hanging out. Yeah. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So we're going to have some trouble translating this. What is philoxenios? Philoxenios comes from philoxenia and noun genitive, so of hospitality. The of hospitality, right? The of hospitality. And that's very wooden. You know, you don't always put an of, but when it's genitive, I just lean that direction until I get a little bit more understanding. Okay. The of hospitality, may is not, okay, not, and then epilonthonesthe, I don't know, right? So I want to guess here, okay? Thonesthe, I'm reminded of, there's a Greek word to kill, right? Thanatos, I believe it is. It's something like that, right? And so I'm noticing some similarities there. So, of hospitality, do not let it die is like kind of a wooden way I want to translate this, but I don't know the epi, right? The epi it's being added on to the verb, obviously, right? But I don't know where the lonthanos, right? I don't know where that's coming from, but I'm reminding of like, you know, again, thanatos, which is like death or something like that. So that's my guess. I'm guessing, you know, if you don't guess and try to work at your Greek, you're never going to remember anything. So you have to make some guesses. You have to try, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, I'm way wrong. Okay. So if I look stupid, I look stupid, right? Right here. Okay. It says to neglect or overlook. To neglect or overlook. So that's similar to what I was saying. And then the may is not, right? So let's look into this. I want to look, now I'm curious, okay? And you can do this when you take such a small pericope. When you take a small pericope, you can dig in depth into, you know, the etymology of the words, etc. I want to look this one up. This is very, very interesting, okay? First of all, used only 8 times, and 3 of those are in Hebrews. Everybody else is a one-off, right? So it's a hapax in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and in James, and then 3 times in Hebrews. Also used once in Philippians. Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. Cal Magic, I Talk to the Trees. Great song from the musical Paint Your Wagon. Very nice. Do the trees talk to you too? No, but when I'm visiting nature, they give me great peace and contentment. That's fantastic. Yeah, very nice. We are fortunate here in Colorado that we live very close to nature, so it's easy to get out, get into nature. It can make a big difference. Okay, I'm all intrigued now, so I want to see if I open, and I'm looking for something in depth here. Okay, we're digging into. I'm looking like EDNT. I wish I had something. I don't want BDAG. I'm not looking for a lexicon so much as like a theological dictionary. Vines isn't going to give me what I'm looking for. Let's try EDNT. Yeah. It says forget. Comes from thonomai. Forget. Okay. Be unconcerned about, neglect, be concerned about in reference to God's constant fidelity. Okay. So I'm not getting too much from that. But again, that Thanomai, it reminds me of the word for death, right? Anyway, I could spend a ton of time trying to dig in deeper here. Do I see any? Most of them list to forget. Okay. So I think I'm pushing it. And I just don't think it's worth it to try and to forget, to be forgetful, neglectful, or disregard, forgotten. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Don't need to dig deeper. But it's another imperative, okay? So now we have two imperatives. The brotherly love, continue, imperative. The of hospitality, do not neglect or forget. And that's imperative as well. Okay, that's helpful. That's helpful. All right, what does it say? Dia is through. So, the of hospitality, do not forget. Middle or passive? Middle or passive? That might be relevant. Well, I need to pull this verb out. We're going to have to look at this verb in depth. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So let's grab it. Escape notice. Lonthano. Escape notice. Ah, so it's not the thanatos that matters. It's the lonthon. Okay, that's the forgetting piece. Anyway. Super ADD study, by the way. Hope you guys are having fun. We need to look into this. Because it's not only an imperative, but it's also passive or middle voice, which is striking. Tree talking to me. What does imperative mean? Imperative is a command, right? So if I tell you, you run a mile, right? Let's say you have a coach and he tells you, you run a mile. That's an imperative. He's telling you what to do. It's not a suggestion. It's not, just an idea. It's not something you're deciding to do. I'm telling you to do it, okay? So it's relevant because it carries with it authoritative force. So when the author tells us, do not forget hospitality, boom, it's an imperative that carries with it authoritative force. Yeah, good question. Hello, Leo. How are you? Good to see you. Hey, PT, how have you been? Fantastic. Never better. Our family was just sick, but we're coming off of the sickness, so we're doing good. We're feeling a little bit better, and household's doing a little bit better from that front. Work's been good. And I see a light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to my classes. Should be walking next month, roughly this time next month, just a couple days. And so, yeah, really looking forward to that. So we're doing great. Thanks for asking, Leo. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Thanks for swinging by. So we need to look into that. Okay, now dia is through tautes. So I'm going to think tautes means like through it. Through what? The not forgetting of hospitality. Through the not forgetting of hospitality, or through hospitality itself, right? Because tautes is usually, thereby is how they translate it here, but it's a demonstrative pronoun, right? So it's pointing back to something that's previously been discussed. So through it, I'm going to put that kind of in quotes, through it, i.e. hospitality, whatever, through it. And then because, gar can be translated because, but it's a post-positive. So gar actually gets translated before tautes. Because through it, right? Or through because it. You know what I mean? Word order is a little bit different in Greek. Okay? So we'll throw the because up here. Because through it, elathon tines. And here's the angelus. That's angels, right? That's angels. You can shorten my name to Tree. Oh, that'll be way easier. Thanks. Thanks, Tree. Yes. Leo, man, us too, but the sickness is all past in our house as well. Yeah, fantastic, Leo. Well done. Sometimes you just got to buckle down and get through it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry to say, but sometimes life is just about surviving. Okay, sometimes you just got to survive for a little bit because you're in the thick of it. All right, so good. I'm glad you guys are coming out of it. Hopefully you can enjoy your spring. We've got a new round of snow. We've had some storms. We had like a week or two of really nice spring weather, and then we've had these spring snowstorms blowing in. So we're just dealing with it. Cal Magic, the idea of imperative passive. I'm not strong in Greek, but I wonder if it's a form grammatically, like it's directed to a third person. Many not need as strong an emphasis as to first person imperative. Just guessing. That's a great, Cal Magic, because what you've inspired me to do now is what I'm going to do is dig into a Greek dictionary, but like oftentimes you can get a dictionary where it spells out. So what I like to start with for these is pocket dictionaries, right? So if I do Pocket Greek, check this out. Pocket Greek dictionary for the study of New Testament Greek. Perfect. So you might type in here, right, passive, and you could read a little bit on that, and then you could put that together with imperative, and you can start to try and piece them together on what exactly it means. So, you know, this is just an example, and a pocket dictionary is going to be much shorter than something like a Greek grammar. Like, if you dig into Mounce's Greek grammar, I'm sure he talks explicitly about imperative passive at some point. But that's what you need to be digging into. And again, Cal Magic, he says he's just guessing here, but these are the sorts of questions you need to ask yourself when you spot a weird verb tense, okay? Peace be with you, Stannis. Good to see you. Happy Monday. I hope you're well. So good idea, Cal Magic. Good idea. Okay, let's keep going here. We're doing our rough translation. So, dia tautes gar, we already did. Elathon. I don't know what elathon is, but I noticed lanthonaste. Maybe it's similar here? Don't know. Let's go ahead and click it. This is the beauty. Yes, it's the same. It's the same. Lanthano. Okay? But, wait a second here. There's an epilanthano, epilanthonomai, and then there's just the lanthano here. See, here's the thing you would never catch in English, right? These words are related to each other. Now, it's not perfect, right? Because this is epilanthonomai, but that's lanthano. You can hear the similarity. Lanthano versus epilanthonomai. The middle is the same. That might be relevant, all right? There might be some wordplay here in the Greek where do not neglect, some have entertained angels unawares. You see that? Do not neglect, but they entertained angels unawares, all right? So that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting. We're going to grab that one as well. Escape notice. To escape notice, the verb here. Yeah, you gotta, if you look at the Greek, sometimes there's some interesting stuff here, right? Escape notice / unaware, right? So that's quite interesting. And I'll tell you what, guys, I used to not put details like this in my sermons. I'm sorry. Christians eat this stuff up. They love this. If you point out that there's a Greek similarity between these two words, this do not neglect and this unawares, and you bring out some exegetical point, I'm sorry, Christians love that stuff, and that's helpful for them, okay? You're not trying to flex. You're trying to teach people stuff and get them to think critically as they study their Bible. So that's valuable. Yeah. So I'm putting more and more of this stuff in my sermons. You know, I think people like it, and it's helpful for people. So, yeah, I'm doing it. I don't care what you say or what my professor says. I've almost graduated, all right? So, I do what I want, all right? All right, let's see this. Because through it, escape notice.
Your life is not in your
What is that, Shay?
hands. Your life
What?
is in the hands of God.
Yes.
The Shay Cutshaw Show just resubbed for 24 months.
Love to see that. What is up, Shay? 24 months, 2 full years. My man. Yes, thank you. Thank you for all the love and support over the years. You're incredible, Mr. Shay. I hope you are well. Dude, it's been a minute. How are you? Fantastic. Utterly fantastic. I hope you are also utterly fantastic. Doing really well. Yes. I've almost graduated. We're this close. A month from now, less than a month from now, I will be driving to Florida to attend my graduation and walk. Love it. Love to see it. So, yeah, we're doing well. How are you, my man? I hope you are doing well. Thank you for all the love and support. Shay has been a tireless supporter of the channel over the years. Much love to you, my man. Much love. Yes. We need to come up with something better than the Golden Teacup. The Golden Teacup was conceived when we'd been streaming just like as an affiliate for just a handful of months. And I was like, when is anyone ever going to get the golden teacup? That's a whole year of support. We're on 2 years. People are crushing with 2 years. Some people have more than that. That's crazy. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Much love to you. Yes, I love to see it. Love to see it. Because through it escaped notice. Now, before I translate it in the past tense, let's see. Verb aorist active. Yep, it is aorist. So, because through it escaped notice. Through it escaped notice. Tines. Again, these are demonstrative pronoun type things, right? So this one's an indefinite pronoun, but it's the same idea. Tree, I will be graduating from RTS Orlando. Boom. That's where I will be graduating from. I've been in the program almost a decade. No joke. I got to say it. One of my professors said it. Okay, one of my professors said it. He goes, "You are the Van Wilder of the program." And I was like, ooh, that hurts. Okay, but I'm just quoting one of my professors. What can I do? What can I do? So we're almost there. We're almost there, y'all. I can't wait to walk and move on to the next stage of my life where I will be producing some original content and be writing books, be looking into getting a PhD. Come on. Yes. Love to see it. Love to see it. Shay says, congratulations, man. That's awesome. I'm doing okay. Tired and trying to figure out what's next. I hear you, man. I feel like God is leading me out of a current season into a new one, but I don't know what that is yet. Ooh, that can be a challenge. That can be a challenge. Yeah, you got to be praying for that, brother. Sometimes it's obvious the direction he wants you to go, and sometimes it's not. Dr. Tanner, whoa. It's way too soon, my man. I don't even have the masters yet. Let's hold the phone here, pump the brakes. Oh, man, you're awesome. But that's the direction I want to go with stuff, right? I want to create, I have original thoughts. I have original ideas that I am not reading elsewhere. And I want to contribute to the field for the kingdom. We'll see what happens. Tree says, steady baby steps is still progress. Well done. Looking forward to your graduation day. Thank you so much for the support. Appreciate you. Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. Because through it escaped notice, tines, some, and then this interesting word. Why do you put an X at the start of a word? Okay, that must be Greek. Okay, it's xenisantes, right? And what does it mean? It comes from xenidzo, and it's got to be a hapax. Any bets on hapax? Xenidzo. Survey says no. It's used in Acts 7 times. Wow, but look how varied. Lodge, entertain, surprise, guess, strange. Used in Acts a lot. Lodging. He is lodging with one Simon. Peter was lodging there. He is lodging in the house. Okay. So 10 uses in the New Testament, but 7 times in Acts. Only 1 time here in Hebrews. Very interesting. Very interesting. Cal Magic says, God provides doors for us, but some of them are labeled push, taught to me by my dad. That's wise. Woo. That'll preach, y'all. God provides doors for us, but some of them are labeled push. Oh, that's good stuff right there, Cal Magic. Ain't no doubt. And you know, some of them are labeled pull too, Cal Magic. And sometimes you push on the pull door and sometimes you pull on the push door. And then some of them are doors they just open. They're a motion sensor, right? All 3 of those doors exist. The better part of wisdom is figuring out whether or not God has provided a push door, a pull door, or a motion sensor door. Boom. Boom. How do you like them apples? Dude, I feel that so much. Indeed, Shay. Yeah, that's a good one. Shay, side question. I found that I love a lot of Reformed theology, but I also find I think some Pentecostal theology is true too. Sam Storm seems like the only one I found who really understands. Anyone else you would recommend reading in that same realm? Sam Storms. So I'm actually sensitive to this as well, Shay. I'm open to the charismatic. Man, what else would I recommend? You know what? I'm gonna I'm going to throw you a curveball here. You've already got the modern charismatic plus Reformed Christian. I would recommend, honestly, you dig into a little bit of Christian mysticism. Okay. There's a little book. I think it's put out by Baker. I haven't read it yet, but it's on my shelf. It's on my to read after I graduate. Okay. And it's put out by Baker Books, and I think it's Introduction to Christian Mysticism. Okay. Introduction to Christian Mysticism. I think that is also a good realm to explore as you're digging into this topic. I'm very open to this as well, Shay. I think you're moving in the right direction. So Sam Storms has the modern charismatic movement covered. Let's go to the ancient charismatic movement, and that's called mysticism. Okay. So I would dig into Christian mysticism if I were you. Yeah. Great question. Great question. Tree says, took me 8 years to get my 3-year counseling diploma, and now I work alongside clients and I love it. Yes, Tree. That's fantastic. Great testimony. Love to see it. Love to see it. Praise God. Praise God. All right. Comes from Xenidzo, and it means to have a lodging, right? Some lodged. I'm going to go with lodged because that's more consistent with its usage in Acts. Some lodged angels, because through it escaped notice some lodged angels. And this escape notice is the unawares piece. Okay, so there's our wooden bad translation. But when you dig into each word individually, you can kind of get a greater sense of what's coming out in the text, right? So, the brotherly love continue. The of hospitality do not forget, because through it escape the notice some lodged angels, right? Super wooden. My professor would fire me. Whatever, right? It's getting me where I need to go. That's very functional when it comes to translation. Okay, very functional. Cal Magic, I would suggest you read PT's suggestion book regarding paradox. Maybe PT will talk about the both idea rather than the either or typical argument. Oh, I'm huge on this one, Cal Magic. You grabbed my attention with this one. So, Shay, an introduction to this is Paradox in Christian Theology by James Anderson. Okay. I recommend this book to almost everyone all the time. Paradox in Christian Theology by James Anderson. Okay. And if you want to read a technical book on neuroscience that introduced me to all these ideas, then you've got to read McGilchrist, Master and His Emissary. And I put these two together. I put McGilchrist's Master and His Emissary together with Paradox in Christian Theology. What this is going to open you up to is the both and world of the left and right hemisphere. I thoroughly believe you can watch any of my videos on YouTube where I talk about brain science or whatever. You know, do atheists only use half their brain? Do Protestants only use half their brain? I have videos on this. You need to both and the world, right? And that's the piece of Christian mysticism that would help, but it's also the piece of the charismatic piece that Sam Storms is leaning into that would help as well. It's both anding the world. Okay. Very important concept. And many Christians don't talk about this. So I would recommend each of these. McGilchrist changed my life. That's not even an exaggeration. Reading McGilchrist changed my life. It changed the entire way I approach Christian theology. He's not Christian at all. It's neuroscience. Okay. It's pop neuroscience, really. But it's a little more than pop. It's pretty in-depth. I think he does good work. Yeah. Thanks for the reminder, Cal Magic. Those will help a lot because it'll twist your brain outside of stereotypical evangelical categories, which is exactly what we need. Yes, Tree is talking about the one that I'm talking about. Introduction to Christian Mysticism, Recovering the Wilderness of the Spiritual Life by James M. Baxter. I have glanced through it. Like I've spent a half hour with it, just sitting down, looking through everything. I like the direction it's going. And again, it's an introduction, right? But I think you'll find that helpful. So yeah, three different books depending on which direction you want to come at things from. Thank you, Cal Magic. Much love. Much love. All right, so there's our super wooden translation. What are some things we want to dig into? We want to dig into the Lonthano relationship, right? So we want to dig into the Lonthano relationship. This is more exegetical work. I rarely do this on stream because usually my pericopes are too large, okay? So we want to dig onto the Lonthano relationship. That's Lonthano itself, and it's the Epilonthanomy, right? Okay, so that's key. The other thing we want to dig into is the two imperatives, right? In such a small pericope, having two imperatives like that is very helpful. So let's dig into that. What up, Deep Dive? Good to see you, my man. Yes, yes. Hey, PT, miss watching your streams. I missed streaming for you. What do you think of that? Huh? Yeah. Good to see you, my man. Welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for swinging by. I hope you're having a good Monday. It's a great week. Great week. So I want to dig into the two imperatives. I want to dig into the Lonthano relationship. And then just this weird word. To the hospitality piece, I think, is important. Okay? Hospitality, but then not only that, the lodged word. This lodged word is really interesting. Okay? And its relationship to acts. So let's talk about this one. Xenidzo, right? So xenidzo, relationship to acts. Cool stuff. And then not only that, but I like this word right here, this hospitality word. Philoxenia. Oh, look at that. Philoxenia. Do you not hear the similarity? Again, xenidzo, philoxenia. Come on. And all this is it's philo, love, put on the front of it. So it's to lodge somebody with love. That's what this philoxenia is, right? So this is the other one, right? So we need the Lonthano relationship. That's dual. But we also need the xenidzo relationship. So we'll put acts down here. And it's right there. Philoxenias. Boom. Look at that. So we've got Lonthano, Epilonthanomi, Xenidzo, Philoxenias. That's significant. Short passage, and you've already got the, putting together of two important pieces in both. And then the imperatives. Two imperatives. Okay? Let brotherly love continue. And do not forget the showing of hospitality. Right there. Do not overlook it. Okay? So there it is, right? This is our exegetical outline. These are the interesting exegetical things. Now what are we going to do with them? That's the idea. Shay, last time I was here, you were preparing for a class on boundaries. How did that go? Oh, it went well. I actually had a lot of people say like they didn't even think about it as a Christian topic. So we prepared that class and we talked about it. And Jess and I taught it together, actually. And that went really well. And I think people really liked it. And a lot of people said, man, I would never even think of this as a Christian concept. But it was. It was a concept for a lot of people that a lot of people needed to consider because I think Christians generally have very poor boundaries. Very poor boundaries. So it went very well. This is part of our initiative in our church to have some classes built around practical application. Okay? We call it our hands ministry because it's about reflecting a lifestyle of Christ-likeness. Okay? Our hands ministry. We do things that are Christ-like in how we live. Okay. So yeah, that's what it's about. I thought it went fantastic. Really, really good. Thanks for asking. All of those classes are going well. In fact, tomorrow I teach a class on humility, which is similar. Okay. So it's our hands ministry. It's not for the head. It's not for doctrine and theology. It's for hands. It's for practical life, practical living for the glory of God. So yeah. Yeah, we try to do them once a month. Last month we did pride. So how do you kill pride? And that's why this month we're doing humility. It's the counter of pride. How do you cultivate humility? Next month, we're doing financial stewardship. How do you, spend money, save money, etc., to the glory of God? So those are some of the ones we've been focusing on just because they're really relevant to our congregation. Cal Magic, how did your class go on the macro structure of the Bible? Went very well. I actually got feedback from somebody who attended. They said, wow, I will never read the Bible the same again. Here's a hint, Cal Magic. Here's a little hint. I actually recorded that. So that one's on our hidden YouTube channel. Check it. Look, I'm going to show it. I'm not afraid. You guys think I'm afraid, but I'm not afraid. Let's see this. So if you go to the First Baptist Church of Leadville channel, 53 subscribers, 53 whole subscribers on YouTube. If you go there, a video recorded on 4/18 is me teaching the macro structure of the Bible. So here I am. Look at that. Look at me teaching macro structure of the Bible. Yeah, look, I can wear jeans. Sometimes I wear jeans. Indeed. All right, there you go. So check that out. Check that one out. Are your practical classes recorded? Not usually, Tree, but that one is. That one got recorded. I knew there were some people that wanted to see it that weren't able to, right? So that one got recorded. All right. What else? Tree says boundaries are essential. I agree. Christians can do far better with knowing about and practicing boundaries. That's correct. That's correct. And we used Henry Cloud's book. Henry Cloud's book. A woman teaching and Tanner in jeans. Jesus must be coming back soon. Look, Shay, we taught it together. That's different. Okay. And I don't know what else to say. That's funny. That's funny. So, yeah, that was an interesting one. All right, what else? Shay, all Christians should invest in crypto. That's financial advice for the ages. Well, depends on when. I know a lot of people who have lost a lot of money investing in crypto at the wrong time. Okay, so that might mess you up. Got to be careful. Got to be careful. Okay. Let's go ahead and keep going. I've got some of the exegesis that I want to dig into. We can maybe talk about this continue. Meno plus, because this one's imperative, right? And then epilonthonomai. Okay, that's relevant. Yeah, I think we're good. And then unawares, escape notice. We're already going to treat that. Maybe the angels piece? What is meant? What is being referred to here? Okay, so now we've done our exegetical work, right? And you can always do more. We didn't even open the exegetical guide. I rarely use this because I rarely have the time to dig into this level of exegesis. I know my professors would be very angry if they knew I rarely did my own exegesis, but who has time these days? Who has time? Okay. So exegetical guide is super helpful. You can dig into the textual variants. That's absolutely relevant. The word by word study is fun because everything I just decided to look into is right here. It opens everything for you. And you can sort these so it only gives you relevant words, right? Note here that it's only giving me a certain type of word, okay? Because how I've broken it down. So it's leaving out the articles, some of the very common words, prepositions, etc. And it's only giving you kind of the highlights. So this can be a super helpful guide as well. And important words, grammatical constructions, all of these are super helpful. Oh, it tells you right there, asyndeton. This is clause level asyndeton. Very cool. So if you're doing exegesis, use the exegetical guide, okay? Do as I say, not as I do. Lot of value here. There really is. And of course, it brings up the commentaries where the lemma is being used in the passage, right? So yeah, just a lot going on. Ancient literature, and here's your commentaries. And again, this commentary section is quite similar to the passage guide. Okay, so I usually just use the passage guide because when you're preaching, often you're just doing a lot higher level than this in-depth exegesis. Cal Magic, is Vector okay? I haven't seen him in months. Yeah, it's been a while. So I talk to Vector fairly regularly. I talked to him recently. We have a dual thing going on. He has a lot of stuff going on in his personal life. And then because of how busy I am right now, his editing and all that type of stuff is kind of on the back burner a little bit. So we're kind of on a pause mode. But pray for Vector. He's got some challenging things going on with his family. Man, he just keeps getting hit with tough stuff, and people in his life making poor decisions. His family, not his direct family, but kind of extended family, Pray for Vector. Pray for Vector for sure. Right. Tree, do you mean the exegetical guide in Logos? Yes, that's what I'm referring to. This guy right here. This guy right here. And here's a really helpful one, is the grammars. Okay. So instead of just digging in depth yourself, because here's the deal. If you've ever read a Greek grammar, oftentimes the author will pick a verse as like the prototypical example of a concept they're talking about. So they'll be talking about a really important concept. Here's a perfect example. Adverbial verbs. Adverbial verbs. Okay? And this is in James Moulton's Grammar of the New Testament Greek, Volume 3. Would you ever have just randomly opened James Moulton's Grammar of the New Testament Greek, Volume 3, thinking, man, as I preach through Hebrews 13, I'm going to find a special insight here? No, you wouldn't have, but here it is. Some verbs came to express certain adverbial ideas. They were used as main verbs, but the main verbal idea was transferred to an infinitive or a participle. An example, lanthano, the participle unconsciously or secretly in Hebrews 13:2. Boom. That's super helpful. Okay. You can find all these insights in the exegetical guide. So open up the morphology or the syntax or the style in your Greek grammar section right here. Very nice. Okay. So yeah, great stuff here. I could go on and on. Great stuff. Praying for Vector right now. That's awesome, Shay. Praise God. Praise God. Thank you. Keep praying for Brother Vector. And, you know, I talk to him fairly regularly, but we're on pause between some of the stuff going on in his life right now and then how busy I am, and I'm not able to record many videos. So we're kind of on pause because of that. Maybe not pause, but like low output mode. Low output mode. All right. Where shall we go? We've kind of got our exegetical outline. Let's start to formulate a proposition here. Okay. So, what does he tell us? He says two things. Let brotherly love continue and do not forget hospitality. These are very, very similar. Okay. So it's something about love, practical loving in a practical way. And he gives us the because, right? It's not a henna. Henna is the typical because word, but you do have the gar here. The gar is kind of, to me, I feel like gar is a softer version of a henna, but it's still similar. It's still similar. Tree says, I have to do an exegesis assignment on the wedding at Cana. This is very helpful. That will be helpful for you. Yeah. Logos is amazing. So many cool tools. So many cool tools. What is up, Edgemark? My bank account is on low input mode. Hey, understood. Understood. Yes. I feel that one. Cal Magic, I love word studies / exegetical guides, etc. I can't count how many times I've listened to a sermon / speaker and they will discuss the Greek or Hebrew and a flag goes off that they missed the true meaning. Ah, very intriguing. Yes, that happens frequently. If you're going to reference the original languages, make sure you're doing it correctly. Okay? Easy to do that one wrong. I'll tell you that much. Easy to do that one wrong. All right, so what are we seeing broadly here? He's saying, hey, let brotherly love continue. An example of how to do this is not neglecting to show hospitality to strangers. This is not an exegetical insight, but notice how he has brotherly love and then also strangers. Okay, brotherly love and strangers. Okay, so that's relevant. So we're looking at something like show practical love to those who are close to you and those who are unknown to you. Why, you might ask? Why? And he tells us, some have entertained angels unawares. So here's the whole idea. Because you have no clue who you are talking to, treat everyone with kindness, love, and respect. Okay, that's roughly what he's telling us, right? Let brotherly love continue. Do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. And it's not just kindness, love, and respect, but treat everyone with kindness, love, respect, and hospitality. Boom. There you go. There you go. Shay says, would you say the Bible word study function in Logos is helpful to understand the original Greek word for something? Yes. So I often reference this, and I usually use this lemma section because it lists every one of your lexicons that has this word in it. Okay. So New Testament Greek English Dictionary. And this is in priority order. So you can go ahead and, put them all up there in priority order. So if you read like what several lexicons and word study books and all that type of stuff say on a particular word, that's going to orient you correctly. Okay. But I would say that the Bible word study function is highly dependent, at least for that piece, on the quality of original language resources in your library. That matters. Not only that, but I love this little translation function here. You can see at a glance where it pops up, and then you can click on the little pieces of the pie, and it'll show you the section, right? Notice how this is translated in different books, okay? So this same word pops up 3 times in the book of Hebrews, and there it's translated neglect and overlook, okay? So that's how the author of Hebrews uses it, in this neglect or overlook sense. But there's also the forgotten sense, and that sense is the one that's used in the Gospels, the Synoptic Gospels. Okay? So notice the same word used in very different ways depending on whether you're in Hebrews or whether you're in the Gospels. I was able to determine that just by looking right here at the Bible word study function. Okay? So to me, that's very valuable. Some of these other ones, Septuagint, helpful if you're comparing a lot to how the Septuagint translates things. Okay? And so if you're comparing the Hebrew and the Greek, that can be very helpful, but you have to have some felicity with the Septuagint itself. I don't often use the root section. I suspect the root section is much more helpful in Hebrew because Hebrew roots are very valid for determining what words mean and their relationships. Hebrew is a much more fluid language than Greek. I wouldn't use the senses section very much for Greek. Still, or the root section, excuse me. But Hebrew might be very, very helpful. So yeah, for the most part, these are good things. But I usually only use the first handful of functions. All right, Shay says, so I use that graph as a way to preach it in an understanding way. So I'll click on the forgotten and it gives a definition. I found I usually use that. Yeah, I think that's really helpful. And that's a great visual aid for people as well. You can usually like export those little graphs, and that's helpful for people, right? Because you can see at a glance, how a word is often used. That's super valuable. Cal Magic says, I have a custom word study template with a custom library. So my theological dictionaries, I'm guessing is what that is, deities and demons, imagery are not in the standard word study guide. At least that's how it was for me. I did it years ago. Logos may have changed. No, that's a really good point. So I've actually edited my passage guide. I have a custom passage guide. So if I open my passage guide here, and let's do 1 to 2 in my passage guide, notice that I have 4 collections right up front of my passage guide. This is all of my Bible translations because I might at a glance want to reference how somebody translates my passage, even though it's not formally a Bible translation I would often reference, right? So I like the translation section here, all my Bible translations. I also have a text and translation tier list. I'll create a video on this at some point, but these are all for all my textual variants. And then my study Bible tier list, which these are all my study Bibles, and it's consistent with the tier list that I made in YouTube. So these are all my study Bibles. I've since added study Bibles, like the Dake Annotated. That's new to me. And I have a handful of other new ones. And then I also have my single volume commentaries. This is going to be in a video to come. So I've custom made this single volume commentaries list. Any commentary that I have deemed to be in the single volume category, I've put in this private collection. And then I've removed them from my prioritization. Because when I want to reference a single volume commentary, I usually want to reference just a single volume commentary. And so I've broken those out separately. And that's kind of my own thing, right? Shay, I can export those? Dang, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, you can. Usually you have to click on the triple dot menu. Let me see if I can export one of these. You open the translation here and something like this. Now, you can use regular old cut and paste, but often up here on the triple dot, you can do print export. And you might be able to, yeah, look at that. Print export, boom, grabs it right there just as I had it, right? So you can throw that over to your printer or your notes document in Word. Yep. So triple dot menu, print export. I actually use the print export function a lot in Logos because I make handouts and stuff for my Bible studies. What up, Dave? It's good to see you. Stopping by to say hi, got to put some littles to bed, and then watch the playoffs. Have fun, Dave. Hey, thanks for swinging by and saying hello. Appreciate you. Happy Monday. Awesome. Awesome. All right. I need to expand my original languages library. Yes. If you've got a robust set of lexicons, it can help a ton. As long as you use the same font. In Word, it's font dependent. I didn't know that. That makes sense, though. That makes sense. I've run into problems like that before. So, yes, indeedy. Alrighty. Well, we've got this. Because you have no clue who you are talking to, treat everyone with kindness, love, respect, and hospitality. So I want to teach on epistemic humility. And that, to me, is going to be driven by the angels unawares thing. Okay. And then, so that's the you have no clue who you are talking to piece, right? And then treat everyone with kindness, love, and respect. So everyone includes brothers, brotherly love, strangers, but also angels or spirits, right? You should treat them all. And how should you treat them? Well, in a way that is hospitable. Loving, hospitable. Yeah, loving and hospitable. That's it. Loving, hospitable. So this is kind of an exegetical outline, if you will. I'm just breaking down all the ideas that are in the passage. And you can convert this pretty easily into a homiletical outline. Exegetical is what the text itself says. Homiletical is how you're going to preach it. Dave says, how do you share that in a blue-collar way? Ooh. That's not my strong suit, Dave. I struggle with the blue-collar aspect of ministry. I've talked about this with my wife recently. Sometimes I'm concerned that my approach to the Bible and teaching, because I am a pastor, and I've been a pastor for over 4 years now. Often I'm concerned that I'm shooting over people's heads. I don't think it's bad to shoot over people's heads sometimes, because that stretches them. But if you're always shooting over somebody's head, are you really helping and serving them? I don't know. That's something I wrestle with, Dave. One thing I do, I've started preaching children's sermons, and what to me seems like a children's sermon, I think is also helpful to some members of the congregation. When you're in seminary, it's real easy, no doubt about that. The other thing I think is helpful is in your speech to avoid jargon, okay? To avoid theological jargon in terms. Don't get me wrong, I can get into like theological analysis, but I often do something like this. I'll often be preaching on a topic and be like, what does that really mean? Like, in practice, how do we actually be hospitable, right? How do we actually act in a hospitable way? And so I'll usually frame it like that, and I think that gives the congregation a sense in which, okay, now we're going to get very practical. And I spend time during sermon prep, I actually spend time to stop and think. I'll show you the resource I get this from. This is from Biblical Theology by Michael Lawrence. Right here. Biblical Theology by Michael Lawrence. And he has an application grid. Okay? This is a sermon application grid. And he's got your main points, and then he's got different people or situations you might think of. So think of your epoch or the position in redemptive history you're in. How would a non-Christian apply this passage? How would you apply this passage to society in general? How does Christ represent this passage? How should Christians live this passage? How should the church live this passage? Right? So he kind of frames it up in a way, and then you can drill down into these. Okay, so you have a Christian, but I have many different kinds of Christians. I have husbands, I have wives, I have children, I have, workers, blue collar, right? All that type of stuff. And so I actively spend time. I don't always bring up this chart, but I try to think, okay, we're supposed to be hospitable. We're supposed to show hospitality. How does a wife show hospitality? And I'll think about that. Okay, well, stereotypically, wives will often open up their homes. They'll create a meal. They'll make a meal for somebody. They'll invite somebody to stay the night. They'll clean up around the house. Okay, right? And I know that's a stereotype, so I won't necessarily say you wives, right? But I will just say in general, when I'm in the pulpit, hey, hospitality sometimes looks like creating a meal for somebody, right? And so anybody in the room who likes to cook then can tap into that. But then I'll also ask, okay, well, what about for my blue collar worker? Like, what's hospitable to him? That might be speaking up and saying hello to somebody to work you normally wouldn't do, right? And so then I could also make that point. I could say, but it doesn't have to be making a meal for somebody that is hospitable. You can even be hospitable towards somebody just by how you're interacting with them in your daily life. Have you ever gone out of your way to say hi to somebody you wouldn't normally say hi to? Have you ever asked somebody how their day was and really meant it, right? Like, you start to bring those up, and what it does is when you get specific about application like that, it starts to fire people's imagination, right? So that's what I try to do. And I try to actively take time every sermon I preach. I try to actively take time of thinking through different types of people and how they could or should apply the text to their lives. Great question. Great question. Dave says, I ask 4 questions. How does it impact the family, our church, our culture, and man? And boom, you've hit a bunch of these, right? Church, okay? Society is culture, right? Your family, that's, well, it's probably on the Christian level, but you're broadening it out, right? And men, non-Christian. So you're hitting a lot of those. It's a similar idea. It's a similar idea. Great questions. Great questions. All right, let's see. Fuzz says, doing stuff with the family church work. Church elders are trying to get me killed by the wife still. Should get lined up with my pastor. We just had that combo. Okay, cool. Cal Magic, I use a lot of Sunday school handouts as there are so many young people today who don't even know the most basic Bible stories. That's true. I found people really like handouts. Even if it's something basic, just like you said, Cal Magic, even if I think, oh, this is real simple, people don't need this, they really like it. Cal Magic says, interesting chart. Jonah, Israel, Jesus, church, steps to understanding Jonah, a template for other Old Testament stories as well. That's exactly right. You nailed it. Those things happen. Okay, cool. Tree, is the Michael Lawrence book called Biblical Theology in the Life of Church, a Guide for the Ministry? Yes, that's exactly what this is. Biblical Theology in the Life of Church, a Guide for Ministry. And this is one of the appendices. I thought it was an appendix. Maybe not. It looks like it's just embedded in chapter 11. Section 3, putting it all together. Chapter 11, preaching and teaching case studies. Yep. So it's actually embedded in chapter 11. I thought it was an appendix, but it's not. Chart 11.1, sermon application grid. Right here. Very valuable tool, this little application grid. Just helps you think the right way. Great questions. Shay, I got to head out, PT. Have a great night. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, good to see you too, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. God bless you. Have a good one. And I will be going soon, guys. Still got a lot to do this evening. Got to upload a vlog. And then I also want to spend some time with the family this evening, etc. So we've reached a decent stopping point. Let's see if we can't get kind of our final proposition and all this type of stuff lined up. Okay. So I want to talk about epistemic humility, angels unawares. Then I will talk about everyone, showing love and hospitality towards everyone. Okay. So let's see. I do, because we ought to be humble in our practical lives. Not quite. I really do mean epistemic humility. Here's what I mean. Human beings are dumb. All of us are dumb because we're human. It's just by definition, we're dumb. And so you need to know that about yourself. I don't know how else to say it. Because we are dumb, because we are all dumb, we
Error
are,
horn button.
and you can't put it that way, but it really is.
Is
Oh,
that
come
tree
on.
talking to me just resubbed for 1 month?
Yes, gifted from Cal Magic. Thank you. Thank you. Cal Magic gifted sub to Tree. 150 gifted. What a beast. Y'all, what a beast. Thank you so much, Cal Magic. Appreciate all your love and support. You are fantastic. Much love to you. Much love. Yes. Hope you enjoy your sub, Tree. So, you can't say we are all dumb, right? But we can put something like this. Because we are all ignorant of more than we know, we ought. See, that's getting a lot closer to what I want to say. Because we are all ignorant of more than we know. And I even might want to talk about, I don't know if you guys have heard about known unknowns. Unknown knowns. This kind of breakdown, I learned this in secular work, but these are helpful breakdowns. We have known unknowns, unknown knowns, you know, all this type of stuff. And I think you can break this down into 4 categories. And the whole point is the stuff that you don't know are really the things that will bite you. And so I do want to talk about this extensively because I think the passage lends itself to that, right? What does he say after all? Some have entertained angels unawares. That's the whole point. And so I want to lean into that and talk about that, right? That's a key piece. Because we are all ignorant of more than we know, we ought to err on the side of caution and act lovingly and hospitably towards all. Boom. That covers all of my points here. I can talk about we're all ignorant of more than we know under epistemic humility, the angels unawares piece. Then I can talk about err on the side of caution, act lovingly and hospitably. That's here, these two. And then towards all. And then I can just flesh out who are the all, the brotherly love, the strangers, and the angels and spirits. Boom, done. So this is a pretty good proposition. And then this will be a good illustration. This is a decent proposition. And then, you know, this is kind of our outline. Now, what we've done is we've taken our rough exegetical outline and made it our homiletical outline, but oftentimes that works. Oftentimes that can work. So I'm pretty happy with this. Pretty happy with this breakdown, right? We could go into more depth here, but for the most part, this is pretty sweet. This is pretty sweet. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Cal Magic. Thanks for the gift. No problem. Trying to suck you into the PT vortex of biblical study. I love it. I love it. All right, guys. I hate to do it. I got to go here. Man, I'm having so much fun. In the future, y'all, I say this all the time, but in the future, we're going to be doing this much more often. Once I graduate, I'll have more free time. I can stream more often. We can do different things other than just sermon prep, etc. He's not wrong. Edgemark's not wrong. But I got to go, y'all. I got to go. I appreciate you all very much, okay? You guys are fantastic. Thank you. No, Fuzz, we're not playing Valorant. I can't tell you the last time I played Valorant, Fuzz. It's been months. It's been months. Gotta say, my man, I don't miss it. I don't miss it. I loved Valorant when I was playing it. I got a kick out of it, had a blast. But that period of my life is kind of behind me. It's kind of gone. I just don't have time. Don't have time. Cal Magic, it's okay. I got a Yankee game to watch. You guys are awesome. Lots of trolls in it. No doubt. No doubt. Hey, you guys are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Have a fantastic week. Hopefully, we will catch up with you a little bit later. All right. And appreciate you all. We're going to be continuing to do this. So thanks for supporting the Pastor Tanner channel. And yeah, look forward to seeing you guys again real soon. Take care. God bless.
don't know why you're clapping. I'm talking about you.